Welcome, dear brothers and sisters, to our program. Today, we'll consider how we can use Bible principles to make good decisions. But first, let's enjoy some encouraging updates. We're pleased to share news about two recent special conventions. On the weekend of May 23 through 25, 2025, a special convention was held in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. This was the largest theocratic event ever held in Bolivia. Over 1,900 delegates came from some 10 countries. The peak attendance was 19,233, and 277 got baptized. Then, on June 13 through 15, a special convention was held in Tirana, Albania. The peak attendance was 8,987, including nearly 2,000 delegates from 17 countries. This was the largest convention of Jehovah's Witnesses ever held in Albania, and 83 were baptized. What a delight to see Jehovah's people sharing together in pure worship. These occasions remind us of the words of Psalm 133:1. Look, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity. But now let's discuss how we as Christians can make wise decisions using Bible principles rather than relying on a list of rules. Consider this simple illustration. As children, our parents gave us rules to keep us safe. They likely said, "Always hold my hand when crossing the street." Our parents made that rule to protect us from real danger. But as we got older, we no longer needed to hold Mom or Dad's hand. Did the danger go away? No. Instead, we learned to look at the traffic in front of us and cross the road safely. After all, it would seem odd if a healthy 30-year-old man still needed to hold his mother's hand to cross the street. Likewise, mature Christians don't need a rule for every situation. Instead, we look at each situation and consider Bible principles. If no Bible law is directly involved, then we use our Bible-trained conscience to make a good decision. For example, consider the use of symbols or customs that may have roots in false religion. In our vast organization that spans 240 lands, can you imagine how many different symbols and customs our brothers encounter? How can we make good decisions about the use of a certain symbol or custom? Well, here are three basic principles to consider. Number one, would Jehovah be offended by this? At 2 Corinthians 6:17, Jehovah gives us clear direction. Therefore, get out from among them and separate yourselves, says Jehovah, and quit touching the unclean thing, and I will take you in. This principle emphasizes that Christians must stay far away from any symbol or custom related to false religion or spiritism. Number two, how would this affect others in the congregation? Romans 14:19 and 21 remind us, "So then, let us pursue the things making for peace and the things that build one another up. It is best not to eat meat or drink wine or do anything over which your brother stumbles." Even if a symbol or custom isn't wrong in itself, we need to consider how others in the congregation might view it. We would never want our actions to offend others needlessly. At the same time, as mature Christians, we respect the right that others have to make their own decisions based on their Bible-trained conscience. Number 3, how is this symbol or custom viewed by people in my culture or community? The Bible principle? 1 Corinthians 9:20, 21, and 23. To the Jews, I became as a Jew in order to gain Jews. To those under law, I became as under law, though I myself am not under law, in order to gain those under law. To those without law, I became as without law, although I am not without law toward God, but under law toward Christ, in order to gain those without law. But I do all things for the sake of the good news, in order to share it with others. The principle here is that we take into account how others feel about and view matters. Knowing how a certain symbol or custom is viewed in our own country or community is very important. Something that is very offensive in our land or culture may be viewed as completely innocent in another land or culture. Back in 1976, the Awake magazine posed this important question: what should be a Christian's attitude toward shapes and designs that have at some time or place been connected with false religion? This question may be involved when you choose wallpaper for your home, the print on a necktie or dress, or jewelry such as cufflinks, a bracelet, or a necklace to purchase. It may even be of concern regarding the design of lamps or dishes. You might wonder, is this design somehow connected with idolatrous worship? Then it offered this key thought. Many times a design will change in significance according to location and time. A certain shape may have a particular meaning to an observer at one time and place, but a different meaning to an observer elsewhere or in another age. So the Christian needs to be primarily concerned about what? Not what a certain symbol or design possibly meant thousands of years ago, or how it might be thought of on the other side of the world, but what it means now to most people where he lives. The article gave examples of common symbols that at one time were associated with false worship, but no longer have that meaning today. The examples mentioned included the heart, the fleur-de-lis, and the pomegranate. The article concluded with this practical advice. With so many different designs having been used in false worship, if a person went to the trouble and took the time, he might find an undesirable connection with almost every design he sees around him. But why do that? Would it not be needlessly upsetting? And is that the best use of one's time and attention? If a particular design or shape is commonly understood where you live to be a religious symbol, there is good reason to avoid it. Or if many people locally have become especially sensitive about some shape or decoration, the mature Christian might choose to shun it so as to avoid needless disturbance or stumbling. Those are helpful principles, aren't they? The same is true with customs. The way they are viewed can change over time. The Awake of January 8, 2000 featured an article entitled, "A Balanced View of Popular Customs." It observed, customs have been profoundly influenced by religion. Many, in fact, arose from old superstitions and non-biblical religious ideas. The article mentions several examples. Some of these customs may have had false religious origins, yet the article noted, over the years, however, the religious associations have faded, and today these practices and customs have no religious significance. Then it asked, so what should a Christian primarily be concerned about? Although there may be reason to examine the origin of a particular custom, in some cases it is more important to consider what the custom means to people at the time and in the place where one now lives. If a custom has unscriptural or otherwise negative connotations during a particular period of the year or under certain circumstances, Christians may wisely decide to avoid it at that time. What are some common examples today? What about covering your mouth when yawning? In ancient times, some people did so because they thought it would prevent one's soul from escaping. But what about today? Today, it is commonly viewed as a way of being polite and does not have a spiritistic meaning. What about wedding rings? Some historians claim wedding rings have pagan roots. Yet today, most people simply view wedding rings as a sign that the wearer is married. An example that illustrates the importance of timing is string lights. Many Bethelites here at Warwick enjoy putting white string lights on their balconies as decorations, except during November and December. Why not then? Because in this region of the world, string lights are closely associated with Christmas, a false religious holiday. So our Bethel family avoids even the appearance of participating in that false religious celebration. Another example is toasting or clinking glasses. For years, Jehovah's Witnesses have avoided this practice because it may have had origins in false religion. However, now, in most places, toasting or clinking glasses no longer has any religious association. It is viewed simply as a friendly custom. Therefore, after prayerful consideration, the governing body has concluded that there is no need to make a rule regarding toasting and clinking glasses. Each Christian should use the principles that we have discussed in this update and his own Bible-trained conscience to make a good decision. What does this mean? Are we saying that toasting is okay now at all times and in every situation? Of course not. We are simply saying that there is no need to make a rule. Each Christian will need to use Bible principles to make a good decision in each instance. Since there are so many different situations that could arise in the 240 lands where Jehovah's people serve, what a blessing that Jehovah has given us these Bible principles. Let's briefly review them. First, and most important, we love Jehovah and always want to please Him. So we might ask ourselves, would Jehovah be offended by the toast? For example, is it associated with a religious or nationalistic holiday? Or is it a simple expression or gesture promoting friendship or health? Second, we love our brothers and sisters and would not want to needlessly offend them. we respect their feelings and their conscience. And third, because we love Jehovah and people, we are sensitive to how any custom is viewed in our own local culture or community. Well, what have we learned? Jehovah doesn't burden us with endless rules. Instead, He lovingly provides principles in His Word. These help us make wise, thoughtful, and loving decisions regarding symbols and customs. We're also reminded to respect the conscience of others and avoid imposing our personal views on others. Jehovah has given us freedom, and we respect the freedom that others have too. By applying Bible principles with love and discernment, we remain united and avoid stumbling others. What is our earnest prayer? It is just as the Apostle Paul expressed at Ephesians 4:13, that we all attain to the oneness of the faith and of the accurate knowledge of the Son of God, to being a full-grown man, attaining the measure of stature that belongs to the fullness of the Christ. Brothers and sisters, please know that we love you all very much. From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is JW Broadcasting.